Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is Elaine and today I'll be going over all the things that I bought in November. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with some clothes. As I had mentioned in October's video of things that I bought in October. Anyways, I said I don't really buy clothes, brand new clothes, but I do often shop for secondhand clothing. So this past month in November, I did go to Crossroads, which is sort of like a thrift consignment type shop. It's a chain in the San Francisco Bay Area. I like to go to the one in Berkeley and the one in San Jose. I sold some clothes, bought some clothes, so this was all technically free. And I do still have some credit left over. I still try not to get too much of thrifted clothing because, you know, it is more sustainable that way, but it's also about consumption habits that's going to determine sustainability. Actually, I'll start with the first one. So I'm actually wearing it. This is a top from Monoprix in France, I guess, which is, I don't know, I'm not sure, but in my mind, it's sort of like the Target of France in terms of clothing. French do stripes best, right? So I really like this combo. I don't have a whole lot of long sleeve t-shirts, so, you know, works out. But as you can see, stripes are totally my thing. So I also did get a striped, I guess, knit. This is from LL Bean. I don't know if it's vintage or not. It's actually probably my first LL Bean piece. If you saw my Celine and Loewe collection video, I was wearing this one. It's very warm. I think it's just 100% cotton though. I do like the high neck. I feel like that's sort of the trend these days, right? And I don't have a lot of high neck items, so this perfectly fit the bill. I really like the color on this. Like, it's a beautiful light blue. And then I did also get a pair of Lululemon leggings. I got this in a neck size up. I'm getting bigger these days, so, you know, and I already actually have some clothing in this color, Lululemon clothing, the exact same color. This is probably from like 2 or 3 years ago at least. But yeah, I got this one. It was half off, so I got it for like $15. So yeah, that's my clothing for this month. And then let's talk about bags. So yes, as usual, I went overboard on the bags. So this is probably the first one I got this month. This is an RSVP bag. And no, it was not gifted, nor is this sponsored. I bought this myself from eBay. So little backstory about the brand. So this is from RSVP Paris. Did I say that yet? If you've watched a lot of BagTube, they gift a lot of bags. As a blogger, small blogger, I was offered an RSVP bag, but I didn't want the one they were offering. Like, it was, I think maybe the Munchkin or something, and it looks so small. Like, I'm not a tiny bag person. I said, no thanks, but could I try this other bag? You know, like a little bit bigger bag. And they just like ghosted me, like no response. I was like, all right, whatever. But then like all the influencers are like, oh, RSVP Paris, so great. So I was like, okay, let me just see. So I bought this one off of eBay. It is suede. I also was like a little interested in suede. Like, I wanted to do an RSVP Paris versus Stowe London suede, you know, comparison review, but I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on the Stowe London right now. I wouldn't use small bag, you know, that's TB again. So, but the big suede bag is 1.6 pounds, and that's like kind of heavy for me. You know, and I, again, don't know if I would use it. And that's up to like $700 with the tariffs. So anyways, if it's in high demand, let me know. You know, do you want me to buy the Stowe London bag and do a comparison? But anyway, so I bought this RSVP bag off of eBay. I wasn't really planning on buying a suede bag, actually. I just wanted to see what was on there, and there wasn't much. And I'm also just not a huge fan of like those 2 gold eyes on their bags. Like, I know that's their signature, but I don't know. It just looks cheap to me. I don't know. So anyways, decided not to go for those golden eye BDI bags. I went for this bucket bag because I do love bucket bags. And I was very intrigued by the pockets in the front. Figured, great, that's a good place to put things. And then also do like that it's a drawstring, so it's not going to be fully open. But it is quite a... That is not my hair. I'll deal with that later. It is quite a hefty bag. There's RSVP on the bottom. As you can see, because it is secondhand, you can see how this wears, the suede. So I'm assuming this person cross-bodied it, and right here, like, basically rubbed off all the nap. But I do have to say I was pleasantly surprised with the construction of RSVP. I do think they make well-made bags. Guessing from the leather quality they chose, it's not cheap. It doesn't feel cheap. Construction feels solid. Construction is clean, neat. Hardware is also relatively not scratched and feels very sturdy. I do think this is a good bag. Well, I haven't used it yet because it has been raining sort of, and also, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this color, but we'll see. I will definitely have to use it when I start doing my reviews. So, and then this bag, if you've seen my unboxing, I got this one from Brandier along with a Rodeo. This is an Hermes mini plume bag, so I think it's a 20 size in boxed leather, so it did come scratched. I did use a bit of the special boxed leather conditioner. I'll post it here, and it did help the leather quite a bit. I feel like before it was quite dehydrated, and it looks a little bit better now. From what I gather, this I think is from 2013, and so the color I think is blue Thalacia is my best guess for this color. I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice in coloring, but you know, it's not bad. It's cute. And then, was this bag number 3 for November? I know, it's a little much. This is the Polene numeral Neuf East West. I did do an unboxing / brief review of it here. You can watch that to get all the details of it. Since then, I've used it a couple times. So anyways, I got this one and I decided to keep it because it is, I feel like, a good representation of what the newer Polenes are like. Leather quality, I mean, it's not terrible. I think it's fine. Construction's pretty good too. A utility, again, this opening, I don't know if it's just with the numero neufs, but one, the zipper is very stiff, and then opening is still fairly small for kind of a big bag. So, I mean, I don't think as small as, like, say, the mini. I mean, the east-west shape helps, you know, you can definitely grab things. It does actually stay on the shoulder relatively well. I think this sort of like hugs it. It does make for a thick, bulky look, but, you know, it's just what the bag is. I will probably do an updated review once I really use this bag and get to know the ins and outs of it. All right, so, and then the last bag of November. I went for it. I didn't do an unboxing of it because I already did like a full petite versus slim Arsan review, but I got the petite Arsan in a tube. I got this one from Fashion File. I finally went for it because this came down in price from like 7,000 to like 50, I think like 5,600-ish. It was like 25% off. And then I didn't know this, but I had a $200 Fashion File credit, and I just kind of stumbled upon it when I was looking through my account. Actually, it was a little bit lower than I think retail price. So retail price is $54.50. I think this was $54.05, something like that. So I was like, you know what? It's in a tube. That's the color I wanted. I think that's everything. No, last but not least, I got a new watch. Yeah, so I don't normally buy watches. I'm not really a watch person per se, but I do have to mention that I am now watching WatchTube. So BagTube has led to WatchTube. And my favorite right now is, I think his name is Mike. I just really love his analysis, and I find like a lot of what he says kind of translates into the bag world. Like he talks about the meaning of luxury. He talks about, you know, fakes being made in China, parts being made in China and going to Switzerland, and is it that cost Swiss made? You know, like very interesting stuff. And then also he talks about, you know, indie brands, you know, and long-term, you know, big conglomerate brands. And he talks about sort of like, you know, in my mind, and it's what I've kind of learned, is that Rolex is sort of like the Hermes of the watch world. You know, everybody, it's like the pinnacle of watches. Is the value there? Not really. It's a lot of hype, a lot of marketing. You know, it's still a good quality product, but is it really worth that much money? Probably not. But, you know, again, everyone believes in that system that Rolex is worth it. So you can buy and sell that Rolex, you know. So it made me get into mechanical watches. So I've been a fan of quartz watches for a long time, just because I've always thought of mechanical watches as like big, clunky, heavy watches, and I don't really like those kinds of watches. I have a very kind of slim wrist, and I've come to realize that those are sports watches, like men's sports watches, and that's the look that they like. But I'm more of like a dress watch kind of gal. Like I figured out that's sort of my niche. The watches that I do have, all Cartier watches and one Hermes, and they're all basically dress watches. Anyways, long story long, this is my first mechanical watch. It is from Longines, I think that's how you say it. Made in Switzerland, but I got this one from Brandier for about $350. It did get tariffed, but it is the same as bags. It's a 15% tariff. Oh, and then I guess my favorite part about this watch is actually the back is called, I think it's called an exhibition case. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of awkward, huh? But basically it's see-through, so you can see the movement, which I feel like, yeah, that's the whole point of getting a mechanical watch. Like, well, if you close it up, it looks just like a quartz. Like, what's the big deal? So I don't know. Yeah, it worked out. It's not heavy at all. It's the perfect size, really. I mean, no plans to turn this bag tube into watch tube, but you know, who knows? That's it. Yep. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting or informative. And if you could like or subscribe, that would greatly support my channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.